Hi there, and how are you today? I'm Stacie Tatera, Milwaukee Medium, and I'm going to be doing this week's Angel Oracle card reading. It's a dreary Monday, and it's May 20th, so I'm going to be doing the weekly angel card reading for the week of May 20th. I hope everybody had a really great weekend. Here in Milwaukee, we're still stuck in a weather pattern that stinks. And I'm in a sweatshirt and I'm cold because it's still cold and dreary out. So hopefully at some point spring or summer will arrive. We just haven't gotten there yet. But I hope you're doing well and that you had a good weekend and that you did weather the most recent full moon, which was yesterday. So we're still in that energy, that Scorpio full moon energy. I hope that you did well. Very emotional. That's definitely a moon that brings up a sign that brings up a lot of emotions. And so if you were feeling a little bit more emotional, maybe a little bit more on edge, but also feeling more invigorated and wanting to push things, you know, getting rid of things, we're in a good space, because that's, I know, a lot of what people had been experiencing over the course of the last couple days. So we move into a new week. You can find me at MilwaukeeMedium.com. You can find me on Facebook, Stacie Tatera-Medium Healer Teacher, and really had a nice weekend. I did take a class with psychic medium Lisa Williams. She's internationally known. I always like to go and experience other teachers and other mediums and, you know, different kinds of modalities, because I like to learn and grow, and walked away with a really pretty positive experience from that class. So that was very cool. And so I'm happy to be here with you today to do your angel card reading. Do want to remind you that this Saturday I have an empath class from 10 until noon. And if you have an interest in attending, I do have some spaces open and available. That will be at my center in Oak Creek. I know the last class we had a full house, and I said I would do the class again. That's this weekend. I know it's Memorial Day, so there's a lot going on. But if you can attend and would like to come, you can go to MilwaukeeMedium.com, look for schedule now, go to classes, and you can sign up right there. You'll also see all my classes that are coming up, as well as you're able to register to sign up for a reading or Reiki session or any kind of service. Just keep in mind I'm scheduling at the end of August and into September at this point. So good stuff. So let's go ahead and get going with this week's card. I actually had brought one deck home and was at the center yesterday for a brief period, and I kept seeing Keepers of the Light, the Kyle Gray deck, and felt very guided and called to use that for this week's angel card reading. So let's pull into, tap into this energy and see what they have to say to us today. But I hope, again, that you're doing well and that things have been moving well for you. I noticed last week I was super tired. Like, I couldn't get enough sleep. Still feeling kind of tired today, but I did have a super busy weekend. Lots of different things going on with my kids and the class that I had to take. They're saying one more. So, just kind of my recovery day on Monday is getting some administrative stuff done. So let's see what this final card is. They're flipping and flopping. Now I know why this deck wanted to come out and work with us. I love Kyle Gray. I love his work. I love his cards. He actually has the Ancestors, Angels and Ancestors deck that I really, really like. This is another great deck of his. And then I actually have one on my phone that I use every so often when I'm out and about. So let's see what we got going on. Interesting. Okay, so I got 4 cards this week. I love, 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 love these cards. I love the artwork on the cards, the messages, and I felt very guided again to use this deck with Keepers of the Light because it has such great energy. So first card, first part of the week, today into the next day or so, faith, humanity, and benevolence. Stay calm, trust the good in yourself and others, and see the light in the world. So this is a card that brings forward that message of staying in faith. We really want to try to do everything that we can to stay in a faith place. So the sentence on the card that stands out for me is stay calm. So if you've been having some feelings of being uptight or anxious or out of sorts, especially if you're impacted by full moon and that energy, that we really do need to anchor into our faith and stay in the moment, because when we feel like we need to go down that slippery slope of the rabbit hole, or we need to worry about what's going to happen with certain situations or circumstances or relationships in another couple weeks or months, that's what brings in that anxiety for us and that fear. We get into that fear-based space because we want to create stories that really don't exist. I know we all can kind of relate to that. So it is about staying in faith, trusting in the good in yourself and others, but also having faith in humanity. And I know there's a lot of things going on, a lot of politically charged topics and issues, and it fires people up. And I encourage you to do what you can to understand the big picture, that everything does play out the way that it needs to. There's a reason for everything, that as a soul, we come in to have specific experiences, and we're living those situations out so that our soul can grow and be the best version of itself. So just remember to stay in faith, stay rooted in that. I'm hearing like root yourself into that faith, staying calm, and just knowing that everything is always going to be okay. Second card is Bridget, who I love because she's super fiery. If you watch Game of Thrones, this card reminds me of Sansa. I'd love to hear feedback on the Game of Thrones ending, because it was over. The last episode was last night, and I'm still processing through all of that. So if you have comments, feel free to comment and let me know what you think of the last season. So Bridget, inner strength, move back to wholeness, recognize that you have the power. So what I'm getting in this card specifically, as she holds fire in her hands, is that you have the power. You have the ability to change the course and direction of your life. You have the ability to control your energy. You have the ability and the power to determine, the direction that you're going in this life. You control your energy. It does not control you. And so this card, with that Celtic Irish kind of vibe to it, and Bridget is known to have that strength, is really going into that inner warrior space that you have, and really pulling from that strength midweek, and knowing that when you feel like you're moving into a fragmented space where you maybe don't feel all together, or there's parts of you that feel this way, there's other parts that feel that way, that we come back to that wholeness, that we do really connect into that wholeness, and reminding yourself that you do indeed have the power to create and do anything that you need to do, okay? So just remember, we're staying in faith, we're really tapping into that inner strength, getting into that fiery space that we know that we have. And the other thing I'm getting is stand up for yourself, okay? If you have been consistently letting things happen in your life where you're not drawing a boundary or standing up for yourself, they're saying make sure you stand up for yourself, okay? Mercury, open communication. Get a weight off your chest, speak up with love, and be heard. So at the end of the week, we're looking at things that might impact communication. And Mercury, as we often talk about, Mercury, the planet going into retrograde, when it moves backwards, it can impact communication. So the fact that Mercury is here talking about communication is a really great thing. But it's open communication. This is something that I preach about, and I'm going to say preach about because I do. It's kind of a soapbox topic for me, especially in my sessions in spiritual counseling. We have to be able to communicate with people. We have to be able to, try to share our feelings and try to share our emotions. A lot of times we keep things in and it just festers. And when we're able to have those conversations that are not always very comfortable for us to have, it really does lift a weight off of our shoulders and off of that heart space of ours. So when you're talking with love and you're being kind and honest, you can't lose, right? But this is really pushing you to be very open with how you feel. And that might be a challenge because for some people, communicating and sharing your feelings is not easy. I'm not a person that falls in that category. I'm probably an over communicator, which has its issues as well. But I feel that for this specific week, it's really allowing yourself to be your true self, be your authentic self, and communicate how you really do feel. I'm also seeing that there are people that there can be we go back to the 4 agreements that we're making assumptions about what's going on in a relationship because someone's not communicating how they feel, what they want, what maybe needs to change or needs to shift or what is going well. I think sometimes we get into a thought where we're like, well, I have to tell this person how I feel, and it's maybe about something that's not overly positive, and that's okay. But I think that we need to balance that and communicate with people what we find to be working well, okay? So sometimes I think we forget to tell people, you know what, I love that you do this for me, and I love that you're there for me in this aspect. And we tend to, use our communication energy in not always the most healthy and best way. And so this card is really asking us to be very mindful of our communication, to use it in a constructive way. The word that they're saying is constructive. But again, communicating all types of issues, not just the bad, not just the good, but balancing that stuff out, okay? So communication is really going to be important towards the end of this week. The other thing I did draw a 4th card, the Shekinah, sacred self. Unleash your spirit, express your gifts, dance to the sacred rhythm of life. This goes back to that authentic self. And I feel like these 4th cards that have been popping up is kind of like the overall theme of the week, or just the energy that we're in. So I'm happy that they're, giving that additional message to us. Unleash your spirit, express your gifts, dance to the sacred rhythm of life. This is the time for you to really unleash who you are in a positive way, right? Unleash kind of can bring a lot of different visuals for people. It's like, ooh, are you unleashing the wrath, or are you unleashing and just opening yourself up, right? So it's expressing your gifts. And I think sometimes people suppress their gifts because they don't know how they're going to be received. They don't know how someone's going to take the information, or the fact that maybe someone is more intuitive than they've let on, that they maybe on the side do Reiki or do healing, or that they do readings or practice angel cards or whatever that is for you. So it's really understanding, and that term sacred is what stands out for me, but self, like you are a sacred being, you are a soul being, and it's going back and having faith in that and really drawing from that strength and communicating in a really healthy way, and really also tapping in and maintaining that sacred self piece of you, okay? So the other thing I'm getting with this card, with the dance to the rhythm of life, is going with the flow, right? Really learning to dance and go with the flow instead of fighting the flow, because that tends to create more angst and discomfort and can put us in a fear or an anger space. And so the more that we're able to really kind of go with the flow and understand that everything has a higher purpose, divine timing, and a divine meaning, it really helps put us at ease. So very, very, very lovely cards. I love this deck. It's just so beautiful. The cards, the pictures, the meanings, everything that came through. But I really do feel like this communication card is kind of a message for all of us from a general term, that we really do need to be constructive with our communication. I had a situation on a Facebook page last week that was one of my angel tarot groups, and somebody was really spouting off about an issue that is very, it really invokes emotions in people, and it was tricky because it's like, where does that belong? Where does it not belong? And it's interesting when you try to communicate to someone in a constructive way and they're not open to receiving that. And that's what we experience. And so we have a choice. Like, will we change how we communicate in the future? Is that person need to really take a look at how they're communicating or accepting information, or how people are communicating? So I feel like this is something that we really need to start paying a little bit more attention to, how we're communicating, how we're receiving other people communicating to us. Do we get defensive? Do we get angry? Do we not let people speak? Do we cut them off? Are we making them seem like what their words and their emotions, what they're trying to say to us, is not important? So just be mindful about how you're communicating. Again, I think that's kind of a big topic right now, because things can be miscommunicated, but they can also be interpreted in an incorrect way. And it's easy to do that through social media, because texting, social media, emails, it's easy to attack people and to not be held accountable really for your words and your actions. So the more mindful we are about that, I feel like the more peace we can create and the less judgment. So they clearly wanted to talk to you about that today. So very good. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic week. We're going into Memorial Day, if you can believe it. I cannot. It's almost done the school year, and just things are moving so quickly. So the goal would be, hopefully I can do an angel card reading next Monday. If I don't, due to the holiday, it will be Tuesday. So, and it might be earlier. You never know. When I can do it, I do it. But typically you'll get it between Sunday and Tuesday for the holiday. And I hope you have a great week. I hope the sun comes out or is out wherever you are. Remember to get out into nature, do some journaling, meditation, whatever that looks like for you to find your peace, burn off your energy. But I really feel like this card is important for us this week for sure. When we look at this spread, even in the past, present, future, this is like the future card. This is something that is coming up. I know towards the end of the week, but also in general coming up. So be mindful of that for sure. So you can find me, MilwaukeeMedium.com. Always appreciate you tuning in and watching. I couldn't be where I am without your support. So thank you so much for that, and have a great rest or a great week. And hopefully it goes well and quickly so you can get on to your 3-day weekend. Take care. Bye.